Hey rail fans and railroad adventurers, we're back again with another great video. I think we've hit a home run on this one. I think you're really going to enjoy it. It's got something for everybody. Of course it has lots of trains running in it too, so that'll keep everybody happy. But we've also got some other things. We visit the town of Hinton, West Virginia for their Railroad Days Festival. It's really a cool festival. They close the town up for 3 days. They have live music playing different places. They have lots of good food at reasonable prices and lots of vendors and interesting stores and things there. They also have the Railroad Museum there that's stuffed full of all kinds of interesting artifacts from the CNO Railroad days, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. We've also got some really nice scenery around the new River Gorge. Places that we stayed, some state parks around there that are really neat. And I've even got a friendly buck that stayed around our cabin that posed for pictures for me. There's deer there everywhere. It's unbelievable. So come on, let's take a trip to West Virginia. Hey, this is Tom with TNT Railfanning Adventures, and this is our cabin that we're staying in at Bluestone Lake State Park here in West Virginia. Why are we here? Well, we're about 5 or 10 minutes from Hinton, West Virginia, where we're going to take you to see the big festival there, Railroad Days. So come on, let's get started. All right, on the second leg of our trip, we are staying in a treehouse cabin in the Pine Haven Cabin Resort. And the reason we're staying here is it puts us closer to Thurmond and to Prince, so we can spend some time there, which we got some great video of Thurmond. And there's no shortage of deer here either. we're going to start out the tour here at the bridge. It's a really unusual bridge. This is how you come into Thurmond. It has a car bridge on one side, the train bridge on the other. Now this bridge is a lead up to the Pax coal mine, and RJ Corman services that mine and brings coal cars down here to interchange with CSX right here in Thurmond. Now this is the original depot, still here. It's been refurbished, and we even have an old semaphore still here. Now at one time this was a passenger station and thriving time of Thurmond. This had as many as 76,000 passengers in a year. It was back in the early 1900s. Here's another look at the depot. Now this is still a flag stop for Amtrak. They run through here about 3 times a week. the cool things here is RJ Corman still has a dwarf signal here in operation. And over here we come to the first building, which is the post office. Now, for those of you who don't know about Thurmond, it was once a thriving railroad town. And it had a really large C&O railroad hub here. It had coaling towers, water towers, and actually over here now it's just woods. Once had a turntable, a shop, and a roundhouse. The C&O Railroad. Now this is basically what's left of the town. The Park Service has taken this over and is now starting to restore some of the buildings and maintain things here. Now, Thurmond's heyday was back in the early 1900s, and of course that was steam. So picture a steam locomotive thundering into town here, getting a fresh load of coal and water to continue on fighting the mountain grades here. One of the original coaling towers still stands. It was built by the C&O Railroad in 1922. The space here was probably originally a water tower, which is now long gone. You got picnic tables sitting up here now to enjoy the view. Now there are still some inhabitants here in Thurmond. Population's about 5, and they all live up the hill here above the town. Now, here's a moron out here on the train bridge, and there's a train coming. He apparently doesn't realize that. We're not supposed to be out here on the tracks or on the train bridge. sorry folks, it is really windy here today, and this is the best I can do and the steadiest I can hold the camera. You're going to see something really cool here. CSX is delivering an empty coal train to RJ Corman to take up to the Pax Mine, and they go up the Loop Creek branch up the mountains here. And RJ Corman is here with an engine to meet him. This is a really cool thing. It's great that we were able to catch it here today. This is the money shot right here. And you get to see it. This was once the Thurmond Town Hall. We've got some other buildings down this way. The state of West Virginia has taken over care of this and is presently restoring some of the buildings down here. Also, they've greatly improved the road to get down here. It used to be pretty rough. And now they've got some signs and things along the way. This has gotten to be a pretty popular place for people to come and visit. It's also located in the new River Gorge. It's absolutely beautiful here, and it's right by the river. Here's one of the buildings they're restoring now. Some other houses and buildings up above. This is a town that was built on top of itself. The town actually started at the river's edge and worked its way up here across the railroad tracks and on up the hillside. I say there's still residents of Thurmond who live up the hillside. Now, most of you are watching probably know the story of Thurmond, West Virginia, but there's some people watching who probably don't, so I'm going to give a brief explanation of it. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, coal was king in West Virginia. There was a huge boom of coal and coal mining there, and the C&O Railroad brought the coal out of the mountains. And they needed places to service their locomotives and to give them fresh coal and water, because they were all steam locomotives back then. So they started putting in facilities to maintain them, and then towns grew up, of course, around them because they needed people to work in the service facilities and things and to maintain the locomotives. So towns grew up around that. So they started the New River, kind of built from the bank up the side of this mountain, and they established Thurmond. Thurmond was a very prosperous town at one time. It had like 3 banks, had hotels, all kinds of stuff going on there. There was even a big hotel, luxury hotel across the river, and there was a lot going on there for years. And then eventually coal declined and diesel locomotives came along, and you no longer needed the service area and the service facilities they had there, and eventually it became a ghost town. There are still some inhabitants of Thurmond. They live up the hill above the town. There's probably just 5 or 6 people. Now the interesting thing is Hinton is the same story, only Hinton is still active. It didn't fall into the ghost town like Thurmond. So it basically had the same thing. It had a service area, it had a freight station, a train station, engine house, round table, and coaling towers, water towers, the whole thing. And it had quite quite a town there. Interesting thing about Hinton is they have a YMCA, and they turned it into a senior center now. But the story behind the YMCA is it was the first YMCA that the C&O Railroad built. And they built it because they wanted some sort of a family-oriented place for the railroad conductors and engineers and train people to stay when they were laid over from job to job on the train. The problem that they had before that was that Hinton was kind of full of bars and some brothels, and they had a problem with drinking. And back in the old days, when they needed a crew for a train, they had what they called call boys. And the call boys had to go around town and hunt for these engineers and these conductors and find sober ones and get them to the train. So they decided to build a YMCA, give them someplace nice to stay, keep them out of trouble, and they could find them when they needed them. And it actually worked. They actually built quite a few YMCAs after that. So that's the story behind Thurmond and Hinton. Hope you enjoy. I really hope you enjoyed our video on our trip to West Virginia. If you're interested in the history of that area, there's lots of stuff out there on the internet and other things on YouTube. There's also books about it. There's the C&O Historical Society. They have a big website. You can go out there and purchase books and different things about it also. I belong to the Historical Society myself. I'm a big fan of the C&O Railroad. And that's it for this time. So, like, share, and subscribe. It really helps our channel boost us up. We get more views that way, which we need. So, thanks for watching, and until the next time, maybe we'll see you somewhere along the rails.